G'day, my name's Ewan from ROI. Over the next few minutes I'm going to be sharing with you some of the latest research that I've been looking at in terms of how different industries in Australia have been impacted by COVID-19. The first one is a very interesting chart that really does show the difference between certain industries which are growing really strong and other industries which are really being decimated right now. So I suppose when people are giving advice about what to do in terms of marketing, maybe in a recession, I'm not sure how relevant that is I think it really does depend on a case-by-case basis, because there is certain industries where things are going really well and you want to be maximising the opportunity, and there's certainly certain markets like travel where you would have to say that the best case would be to conserve costs and be conservative at this time. So to go to the next level of depth, you can see here a recent study that's been done in the US, which is comparing the growth on specific categories in e-commerce compared to 2019 and 2020. And that gives you some insights into some areas like bread machines, weight training, sanitizer, milk and cream, which are standout specific product areas that are growing at exponential rates in this current market. On the flip side, we're seeing certain product areas that are also being negatively impacted. We've got the flow-on impact for luggages and suitcases for people not travelling. You've got people staying at home, so they're not making the same investment in clothes and looking good that they would have previously. Okay, so now we're going to look at the bigger picture as to what channels people are using to find information, because in these unprecedented times, we're all looking for the latest information about how our lives are being impacted at a local and also a global level. The growth in Google off a very high base has been phenomenal the last 90 days. So there's no doubt that as a research tool and an information tool, when people are wanting to get the latest information, as you can see from this graph, that they are going to Google in very, very high quantities. In fact, there's almost a 50% growth in Google off some very high numbers in Australia the past 90 days, which is actually incredible. If we start looking at some more important categories such as real estate and our housing prices, you can see that there has been an impact in real estate over the last 30 days, down somewhere between 15 to 20%. The interesting part about realestate.com.au is that despite the fact it had a drop of about 20%, in the last 2 weeks, in those locations, those states where there's been a low number of COVID-19 cases, Tasmania, South Australia and Northern Territory, we're starting to see a pickup in the amount of search for property in those particular markets. Not surprisingly, those markets have actually got a high percentage of government jobs, which are actually growing quite now. So I suppose that certainty of employment is also helping stimulate potential growth in those housing markets in the last 2 weeks. So the flip side is one of the most biggest brands when it comes to travel is What If. Unfortunately, a massive drop with the reduction in flights, the reduction in hotels, etc. We're seeing a 90% reduction in this particular brand search in just less than 30 days. That's unbelievable, that amount of change. The flip side to not going to restaurants, we're seeing great growth in big brands such as Uber Eats, which is growing at almost 50%. Menulog also 25% or so. So really big growth in the category of home delivery and getting meals delivered to your home, and takeout generally as a category. One business that's absolutely booming right now is Bunnings. And the reason I wanted to talk about Bunnings, not only is there growth in their brand off a strong base, but there's some really interesting trends in terms of the way they've pivoted into new areas. Hand sanitizer, toilet paper, and they're also, just last week, are trending around home gym equipment. So Bunnings is a great example where they've used their Wesfarmers strategic advantage to be able to bring all these different products into a channel where people are going in to home improvement. A fantastic business that's doing very well in this tough environment.